chugging along here. Here we go. Okay. I believe we are now live on the Candidates with a Contract Facebook page, and give me just a second while I share this also to the CFAR page. And this is Lloyd Dunn running as an independent in Tennessee's 6th Congressional District, and I'm going to just let you go ahead and introduce yourself, and while I share these out a couple more places, share this video out.
All right. Hello, everybody. If you're viewing the video here, my name is Lloyd Dunn. I'm one of the candidates from Tennessee, Congressional District 6, from the Portland area, which is north of the state capital, Nashville.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about your district. Just a little while ago, I posted a video clip of Thomas Frank, who wrote the book Listen Liberal, which is basically just about how the Democratic Party left the working class, specifically the white working class, behind, and kind of why they've turned. They were looking for somewhere to go, and the Republican Party, which really doesn't represent their interests, doesn't really do anything for them either. But they've kind of won over a lot of their votes. And, I'm in North Carolina. I'm in a very blue area of North Carolina, but I know you're in a very red district in Tennessee. Yeah, I saw that. Ballotpedia has it as R+24. So that's pretty solidly red. So I would love to hear more about sort of what you hear on the ground when you're talking to people, and maybe why, if what Thomas Frank writes about is true from what you hear.
Well, let me first start off saying I used to be a Democrat up until 2016, and my second time running for office. The first time for U.S. Congress, but I did happen to run in 2016 as a Tennessee State House candidate for District 44.
Okay.
Like I said, I was a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I could tell you why I'm no longer a Democrat.
Sure. I think we've heard this, but please do tell.
Why I left the Democratic Party, one of the main reasons is they turned the back on the people of District 44. The party leaders of my county, they have this, what do you say, teeny mind concept of overlooking some voters, a select group of voters in cities, and that didn't sit well with me. Mm-hmm. Nor do I bow down to any political party, especially leaders. Mm-hmm. And that's just the beginning of why I left the Democratic Party. The second reason is money does not rule who I am. Money controls them. It has never will control me. And we could not get a balance of money and people. People matter. Money does not. And that is the two main reasons I left the Democratic Party. We could not see eyeball to eyeball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see you're on a break right now. You work in the medical field.
Yeah, I work at the medical center at Franklin. I work in Kentucky, which is about 7 miles from my home.
Oh, okay.
The Kentucky-Tennessee state line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's good to see real people running for office, and I think that's really. I don't know if you were a Bernie supporter. I'm guessing probably you were.
I do like Bernie Sanders.
But I think he started that a revolution of people that decided to run for office that might not have otherwise. But yeah, I don't think the party officials take too kindly to it in a lot of cases. Or yeah. So, what do you, when you're talking to people, do you feel like you get further, as in when you say I'm an independent and you talk about the issues and?
Well, when I talk to people, especially around my area, around the Nashville area, I get a lot of, well, you're never going to win because this is a Trump country.
Okay.
I try to explain to these people, you may assume it is a Trump, Trump country, Trump district, but it really isn't. And I try to explain to them that it is a people's district. That is my main core of where I stand. It's the people's Congress. So, I have a lot of, even from Democrats, even from Libertarians, and especially the Republicans, they like to dog me because I'm the only one that votes in my family. And so I guess I'm a unique in that aspect, because when they ask me why my family don't vote, and I flat out tell them they do not trust our government. And I want to break that mold.
Wow. Yeah.
If I have to live with a one-man army, so be it. But I will, you may hate me, but I will have an impact on, if I have to do it on one person. If that one person votes, I'm happy.
Right. Absolutely. I've been fortunate enough recently to be included in some election integrity efforts with the group Audit Elections USA. John Brakey works tirelessly in these efforts. And he has put up this cartoon a few times on Facebook, but it's basically like a bunch of people, and it says, we don't vote because it doesn't matter. And it's like, obviously the group that's larger is the people that don't vote. So they don't trust it, and that's why they don't. They think it doesn't matter, with good reason in some cases. So
around rural Tennessee, I think why people don't vote is because they are afraid, they're uneducated, and they're educated about current issues. A lot of people that I know don't watch TV because of what's going on. They flat out don't like President Trump, but they don't know very much about him. And so I try to educate them. I try to, get what they care about and communicate about it.
Right.
And I try to come to a conclusion where we may understand a little bit, and hopefully to get them to vote. I've been successful so far. 16 people has registered.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
And the most recent one is a cousin of mine. She's never voted in her life. She is 36 years old. And she has registered to vote, which, I consider that an amazing thing. And
it's kind of funny that I'm doing this work now, because I didn't vote until I was 29 in the 2000 election. And the reason is that I come from Republican family on one side, Canadians on the other, that socialized medicine, and I knew I've always been more progressive. I voted green before, but I didn't vote because I didn't feel like I knew enough to vote. I just didn't have. I knew I wasn't Republican, but I just didn't know where I sat exactly. So I think it's good to be informed, but unfortunately, if people feel like, they don't know their own power in voting and sitting out what happens. So, do you want to talk a little bit about, actually, before we go into your opponents, speaking of people not voting, I always like to look at, so Ballotpedia has, the most recent census stuff, which is 2010, but your district, the 6th district, it says the population is almost 714,000. And in the last election, let's see, in 2016, we had, it looks like 284,000 voted. Yeah. So, and this is pretty typical. Of course, some parts of the country, Massachusetts, we've interviewed a few people recently, has a higher turnout. But, this is pretty typical. It's abysmally low.
In Sumner County, where I'm from, it was the lowest turnout ever, 2016.
Really?
According to what they were saying, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And I just want to, hold on, I'm going to try something. I've had some technical challenges here, but I'm going to try to do a screen share really quickly of something, if you don't mind. Let's see. Okay. No, there we go. That's what I need. And I just need to pull this down. I believe that'll work. Okay, hopefully you can see this. So I'm just always curious, you know, I think an independent candidate or a Democratic candidate running kind of against the establishment, I think, you know, they often have a lot of Bernie's message, or a lot of his, you know, issues, like when you signed the CFAR, and there are a lot of Bernie's platform, you know, single payer and tuition, all for free tuition for colleges, all those things are there. But I'm always curious, like when you look at the primary, let's see. So some of your counties here, did you say Sumner?
Yeah, Sumner.
Okay. So yeah, you have kind of, it's like still on the Democratic side, there's more support for Hillary. But it's not, I mean, you look at the numbers, they're not very high. And then, of course, you look over here and you've got, you know, the Republican turnout is much, much higher.
Mm-hmm.
But on this note, let's see, I just want to share. I think sometimes people, let's see. Okay, that's good. So anyway, I just think that, oops, let me get back to, there we go. Yay, I got it to work. I think that's kind of a good indication when we've got an anti-establishment candidate, we'll call it, you know, just to kind of look and see what that vote was for Bernie. It's not, you know, not a definite guarantee that you'll have more people come out, but I think that Bernie support has kind of translated into some of these other candidates, you know, that are anti-establishment, and it's translated into support for them. So, what are some of the some of the things you're up against with your opponents? Like their funding, you know, I guess they've got ads and all that you don't.
Well, popularity is one, you know, is at the top because I'm running against a millionaire and a doctor, which, like I'm telling you, has literally brainwashed a lot of the voters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're letting them think that they're the only candidates. They're only two candidates. Yes, I'm going against money and education. That's how I consider my top two opponents. But there's a difference between them and I. They both face lie to the people, and I have yet to lie to the voters. My thing is, you have to lie to get in politics. Why run? And that's what I constantly, from day one, has called my opponents out on. And they don't want to face the reality that, why are you doing this? You know, people tell me, politicians, they're nothing but crooks and liars. And in between all of them, you have an honest politician. Not very many, but they're there. We have to get away from the thinking of that mindset that everyone's corrupt. No, but they're not. And that's how I see with my opponents, is corruption. And I want to break the mold.
Right. Do you ever, there's another site, I should have had this pulled up, Open Secrets. Have you used that at all? You can check and see.
Yeah, because I'm listed on there.
Okay, you're listed here, but I'm sure, yeah, you have mega millions from all the health insurance companies and all that, right?
Yep. Yeah, I understand it. And, you know, what cracks me up is certain organizations is supporting my opponents. And they don't even mention on their platform anything, any reference.
Of course.
To the organizations, which is funneling money into them. Right,
right. So do you talk about that a lot with people, I imagine?
Oh, definitely. Especially the environment. You know, that's just one of the things I stand very firm about. For other things, you know, I guess what makes me unique also is I'm the only gay candidate that I'm aware of running for Congress in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So that means a lot to me as well, the rights of the LGBTQI people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
we have a Democrat which is supposed to be protecting the rights of the LGBTQI people, but yet she has yet to mention anywhere in anything she has ever done about us.
No, I think it often becomes clear that, you know, the term identity politics, that they just want to use that and to gain votes. And it happens on both sides, but I do that does happen a lot, obviously. So do you is that have you found pushback because of that, being running in a really conservative district?
No, believe it or not, a lot of my friends are gay Republicans, and you know, and I think
They do exist, right? I said they do exist.
Which is, we have a lot of communications because I think they're traitors, but you know, I still love them and all, but their politics and mine don't line up. But they're my friends, and that is their choice.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But no, believe it or not, there's really I don't have no opposition of being a gay candidate in the red states. At least, yeah, like I said, this is my second time running for office.
Right. Well, there's an age divide too with that. You know, the younger people don't care.
The older people I've talked to, they care less. They only care about where our country is going.
Good to know.
Sumner in Robertson County, you know, the media of all points in the media, and I like CNN and I even like Fox, believe it or not, but they've got everything twisted. Actually, talk to people, they're not as closed-minded in differences as one would think.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and people tend to one-on-one, even if they might say things in other arenas, you know, one-on-one, they're really not. Yeah, but I think, the media and both political parties, they profit, you know, when we stay divided this way. So I was just looking up so John Rose, it looks like we have, that's the Republican. Almost 3 million raised. And Dawn Barlow, she has, according to Open Secrets, has not raised all that much. 15,000.
Yeah, not much. And you will notice 0 for me.
Let's see. Right. Okay. Well, hey, people know you're not bought by anyone then. That's good.
You know, I believe in getting out there. I believe not being involved. Never will.
Right.
You know, and my positions on that from 2016 to 2018 has not changed.
I agree with you. I agree wholeheartedly. I think, you know, sometimes I think it's almost comical, the ridiculous amount of money that they spend, and I guess it goes to media ads and stuff, and a lot of people aren't even watching those anymore. My feeling is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go.
In Tennessee District 6, between the Republicans and the Democrats, they spent over $5+ million attacking each other on ads.
Oh, and you just hear those numbers and you're like, oh, we could build a school, or we could do, I mean, it's just, So I have this crazy idea that the stuff that we're doing, we've got the technology, it's not real perfect and shiny, but we've got the technology to do this, to get the word out to people that happen to be watching wherever, Facebook, YouTube. This doesn't cost very much. It's a Zoom, subscription and restream, and you can talk directly to the people. There's basically no money involved. There's no money it doesn't cost to vote. So we could just bypass the whole system. That's my pipe dream, I guess.
It costs that much to communicate.
Right, exactly. But it's reaching those people, and especially reaching the non-voters, people that just check out because they don't feel like it's going to matter, and they don't know where to look either, I guess. So what have you been able to get into any local media, like any local news and stuff?
Well, I'm still writing up my things I have to send to the Herald, the Tribune. The Tennessean contacted me this afternoon, and I'm typing up my thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
The national. I did have something set up for News Channel 5,
Mm-hmm.
but we had to cancel it because of my job here.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
But other than the social media sites, Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
as you follow me on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite vocal. I try to stay active with the community and the voters as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I got them 3 newspapers I have to send things to.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully by tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you feel like your message of anti-corruption is really what resonates with people then?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Everyone, about I say 98% of the people I've talked to,
Mm-hmm.
they are done and over with. The corruption, the buying, the two-party system,
Mm-hmm.
neither one is working.
Right. Right.
And I have a lot of conversations with my coworkers here at the hospital, and we're all of different political parties and none thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And we are a mix of, we have hardcore Republicans, we have hardcore Democrats. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
we have Greens and Libertarians,
Mm-hmm.
and I think everybody is fed up with everybody
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in this country.
That's really interesting. What would you say the main difference? What are the things that they don't agree on? I guess still, if you were to compare.
If I had to put something at the very top of everybody, President Trump.
Oh, okay.
Right off the top.
Well, he's controversial.
And we can all agree that he needs to keep his mouth shut and stay off Twitter.
Uh-huh.
From Republicans to Democrats to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think we don't agree on for most is how much our military and how much spending
Okay.
is for the military. For the military.
Oh, we're having a little lag. Hang on. There's a little lag on the audio just for a sec. Let's see if it straightens out. Okay. That's a great point. We always bring that up because this is one of those areas where it just seems like, whenever, there's someone says, oh, let's do, Medicare for all or tuition-free college. It's like, how are you going to pay for that? But who says that? Who says, how are you going to pay for that? Every time they increase the budget for the military, obscene amounts of money. Nobody questions it. So you feel like that's something the Republicans, they just kind of say, oh, well, we need to spend that?
Yeah, we don't. I don't know if you've seen my video I done earlier today about where I stand on issues. Like I said in my video that I done on Facebook and on my YouTube, I believe we need to close bases in foreign countries that is not United States land.
Mm.
Bring our stuff home, bring our soldiers home,
right,
and fix our bases at home.
Mm-hmm.
While doing so, give our soldiers a pay raise,
mm-hmm.
what they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing my research just last week on what our Congress gets a year, it is sickening.
Mm-hmm.
$174,000 a year, over $200,000 plus for the speaker. Seriously,
mm-hmm.
I see teachers, janitorial. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I see all kinds of things that this money, infrastructure for one,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
could be going to.
Right, absolutely.
I just, even my retired military friends, my veteran friends, they also agree we do not need to be worldwide in every single thing.
No, we don't. And it's just time people pay more attention and question, what we're doing. But I think that when you've got a population, half the country in poverty, and people
Yep.
have their nose down at, just making it paycheck to paycheck, they can't be worrying about what's going on halfway around the world. And it's hard to...
I'm sorry.
No, it's just hard to stay informed, especially when the media is also not doing a very good job at that. They're mostly playing, you know, panels of pundits arguing with each other for, you know, for more views or whatever, for ratings, and they're not doing a good job, of course, of informing people, which could be.
You know, with the people, you know, a lot of people I talk to, you know, they know where I came from, you know, as being raised and whatnot. See, I was poor. So I have a quite understanding of what it is to struggle. I was raised by a single parent, which a lot of my opponents, they believe just firmly with a family unit, man and woman, no single parent, you know, and you know, and I was raised on food stamps. I was raised by a single parent. I'm quite aware with the struggle that Americans are going through, but we need solutions. No one is talking about solutions.
No.
You know, that is heartening. That is sickening. You know, even the people in Congress that's been there for for ages, 40 plus years, have not done a single, pardon my language, damn thing.
Well, they have to spend too much time fundraising. That's what they're thinking about next, is the next election, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you were talking, I don't know how much you want to say on the air, but about possibility of debate. So you haven't been included in any formal debates, right?
No, I have not been included in any formal debate. I have contacted the two universities where my opponents have been trying to get a debate set up, and I have got communications back from the communications director and also Cumberland, you know, from TTU and Cumberland. They also sent me what my opponents' communications with them. They sent me what they told them as well. Just like they told me, it took over 7 months to set up the senatorial debates at Cumberland University. We have 13 days before early voting. There is no way to get this in a row, you know, to manifest itself. But I see that. But I also see we can hold a local debate, you know, in a town, you know, in town halls. But no one wants that because, well, I would, but the Republican and Democrat I'm running against, they want the biggest place, more media. My thing is, what about the rural towns? What about the off-the-wall places? They have a voice. They want to hear us. Right. You know, and that goes back to why I left the Democratic Party, eliminating voters. And you know, and me, Cumberland University, and Tennessee Tech, I think we agreed it will never happen because of time restraints. And my opponents, until tonight, like I told you, that the Libertarian called me up on my cell phone, begging me to call him to get Rose, the Republican, to agree to it. I would never do that. One, it would be a waste of our time trying to set up. You know, we have some of the biggest towns in District 6. I would agree to set something up in our towns. But university, it's a waste of time.
Okay. So what methods have you been like going out just knocking door to door, or are you going to what all are you doing?
If I walk or knock on any more doors, I'm going to get calluses on my hand. One thing I do, and you know, and I'm quite known about it, I do walk. I knock on doors, I put pamphlets out, you know, I communicate with my neighbor. You know, you have to. You know, I believe in going to places where a candidate normally would not go. I believe in going to the ghettos, the trailer parks. I believe in going to places where I would say rich people wouldn't go. You know, my opponents, they believe in go to the fancy neighborhoods where Tennessee Titans play. I don't. I believe in going off the wall. You know, you have to reach out to a broader perspective of voters.
Right.
Not be comfortable to.
Right, exactly. Well, I think they wouldn't know how to talk to those voters maybe. I remember there was an article written about Sima Hernandez running against Beto O'Rourke. And she was basically, after she lost, she did really well, but he's the Democratic establishment candidate, and she was kind of telling him like how he needed to go and talk to regular people, to working people. And I thought to myself, don't tell him don't tell him how to do that, because it won't be authentic, But I mean, and the thing is, they won't. They're going to talk to the donors. They want the donors' money, and it's just discouraging. But I think the best way to go is what you're doing, like just going and talking to regular people. And do you feel like when you do that, and when you go to some of the poorer areas and stuff, are a lot of people not even registered to vote, or
a lot of them is not registered?
Uh-huh.
That is true.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
One other thing that I've been running into, they have no transportation to go get registered, or they, out in the rural areas, they don't have internet.
Mm-hmm.
We still have a lot of internet in the rural areas of Middle Tennessee, and that is also a challenge for a lot of seniors, for instance, that wants to vote right now. They have never voted.
Mm-hmm.
We have to solve that issue.
Yeah, this is something, like I said, I'm in North Carolina. I'm right by UNC. It's a very blue pocket, and I'm actually from Michigan originally, but I've lived all over the South. And so I know this, and I don't like to fly, so I would drive from North Carolina to Detroit. And I feel like, when that people say the flyover states, it's so true. When you watch the media, it's just, they're representing the coast. They don't know. And I mentioned to a friend of mine, like, go drive through West Virginia and see like how people live, because she's never seen it, And she said, oh, I wouldn't want to do that. That would be scary. And I thought, these are people too. And yeah, the idea that we still have people in this country that don't have internet or transportation is so alien to a lot of other people. But it's true. It's there. And I think that's just, I don't know, it's just too bad that people don't recognize that is a problem. And that's a barrier to voting. And everyone should have equal vote, equal voice. Yeah.
Yep.
So are you able to help, like, assist with any of that, with getting them registered or drive, or is there a program to drive people to the polls?
We have people that volunteers, out to, two people, myself, and I also try to get Mid-Cumberland, the transportation out of Cookville, to go and actually pick people up. A lot of people don't know about the regional transportation network. We actually do have one. It's the little red and white buses out of Cookville, in the eastern part of the district. Now, we have transportation, just that they're unaware of it. Because a lot of times the Mid-Cumberland, they only go to the cities, not outskirts. Because they normally don't have riders that calls upon them to come get them. Now, I'm trying to get them to go pick up people, be more familiar with the network. And but District 6, we have a lot of country in the district, and as soon as you get away from the Nashville and the Cookville metro areas,
right? Yeah.
You wouldn't believe that with 714,000 people.
No, but it's pretty spread out.
It is, yeah.
Right. So, so early voting is 13 days? Is that what you said?
13 through the 1st.
Okay. So, what are your plans for the next?
Keep pushing what I'm doing now, and I've been getting to places I've never been before, and learning about certain cities and areas, and like the other night, for instance, I left my house at midnight. I was putting my signs out, and I ended up in Egypt. It felt like, I mean, I was out in the boonies, and everybody told me, "Well, you're crazy." I said, "Hey, you got to do what you got to do to meet people." Out until 11:30 the following morning. Then I drove all the way back, to Portland, and you have to do what you have to do. Sometimes you have to just push it. You have to do it yourself. I don't have no army to do my will, do my bidding, to go meet people. I believe in the voters meeting you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have a good network of volunteers though for your campaign? Or
There's a group of 5 of us.
all right, that's
5.
awesome. 5 people can do a lot.
And we have.
That's great. That's great. Well, I saw here though that so this is 2016 Tennessee U.S. House Tennessee District 6. Okay. Diane Black got, well, keep in mind the 700,000 actual population of your district, but let's see, Diane Black got 271% of the votes, the Republican, 202,000 basically. The Democrat got 61,995, but this independent, wait, David Ross.
He's
Okay, running now. He's a kind of libertarian, right? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
But, I mean, he did get 20,000 votes.
Yep.
So that shows something, that you've got some maybe independent-minded people in your district. That's better than sometimes what we see. So...
Yep.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, David Kent was the Democrat in 2016.
David Kent. Yes, I see that. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's been a long time since a Democrat has won in your district,
Yep.
I would imagine. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I really do believe that Thomas Frank hits the nail on the head with that, of why that happened. I mean, it used to be that the South was Democrat. So, yeah, it's it's good to know that there are people that are open to listening to independent voices, and I just wish you the best luck. And I think that, the best part of doing what I've been doing with this is all the wonderful candidates that I've met, and all of you really are pretty much on the same message too. Maybe not exactly on every issue, but overall, it's getting money out of politics, representing the people. I think you're right about the military spending. It's kind of that's a touchy one, but it gives me hope, because I really feel like this army of these candidates that have signed candidates with a contract and or contract for American Renewal are really, really wanting to represent the people. And I think, unfortunately, it's a little bit longer a battle than 2018. I really hope I hope all of them decide to run again in 2020, because I think it's a matter of getting the word out. We can only do so much. We'll see how many views we had tonight, but I think the more and more people maybe don't trust the media and they turn to other places, and look for alternative sources for their news, maybe they can find where candidates like you come on and just try to talk directly to people. I think that's the best. So do you have plans to try again in 2020?
Yeah, I don't give up too easily.
Good to know. Very, very good to know.
You'll be seeing my name until I get a win.
That's awesome. I love to hear it. Well, is there anything else? I'll give you the floor if you want to say anything we've missed, or anything particular to anyone that might be watching that might vote for you.
Well, if you're from District 6, my name is Lloyd Dunn again. I'm one of your candidates for Congressional District 6. I'm an independent. As my slogan says, people over party. If you think like me, I sure would love to have your vote. Let's get things done in Washington, which has been a little lagging as of late.
Yes, it most certainly has. Okay, well, we'll end our live stream here, and if you want to hang on just a minute, I wanted to share something else we're going to be doing with, I think, all of our independent candidates soon, okay. And I'll announce that later. Okay, here we go. We'll end here.